Hello. Writing resource proposal and funding resource proposal. So this is an attempt on behalf of our IQAC cell, Kendrapara Autonomous College, to bridge the gap between our ideas and how to get our ideas approved by the funding agencies. So in writing the resource proposals, the workshop will stress upon defining a clear objective of the workshop. The objective should be clear objective of the proposal. The proposal should be very smart, like specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Our resource person will stress upon these things. There should be structural impact, and there should be enhanced clarity and persuasion. So by learning these concepts in the writing part, our participants will be efficient in writing the proposal in a very smart way. Coming to the funding landscape, here through this workshop, our motto is to convey about what are the opportunities available, like helping the researchers find relevant funding sources from government agencies, private foundations, national and international organizations. Through this workshop, you will understand what are the funders' priorities, how to align a proposal with the specific objective and evaluation criteria of a funding agency to create the likelihood of its success. And we will also come to know the budgeting and management, where the participants will be trained about creating a realistic project budget, justify the cost, and manage the funds effectively once the project is awarded. So these two are two important parts of this workshop. And beyond this workshop will also aim to foster a sustainable research culture by increasing our confidence, by creating the networking and collaboration, and by improving our skill on how to manage our projects. So I limit myself because we have two eminent resource persons in this particular field, as already they were introduced to the house. One is a professor of economics from Utkal University, from the Department of Economics, Professor Himanshu Rout sir, and Professor Minaketan Behera sir from Jawaharlal Nehru University, from the School of Social Sciences and Center for Informal Sector and Labor Studies. Both of them are very good researchers, and they have handled many research projects, and they can tell us practically in what way the proposal should be organized and what are the key points we all should stress upon, so that the proposal which we used to write in a very generative way, they will make us to learn how to make it effective by shaping the proposal in a very efficient way, so that it will fulfill the funders' objectives. Along with this, research scholars are also present. They will also learn how to write the research proposal, so that they will get through their project synopsis. So, sir, to this house, I must convey that around 140 participants have registered in online mode. Out of those, 35 participants are from different universities at all India level, and around 45 participants from different colleges and universities across the states. Beyond this, the participants are also all the faculty members of this college, and many researchers and post-graduation students are there. So with this, I request all the dignitary resource persons to deliberate their best and convey our participants about the different aspects of writing and funding research proposal, how to make our ideas into a successful proposal, and how to get our research proposal approved by the funding agencies of national and government and private national organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Academic institutions progress through guidance and contributions of distinguished scholars. To do the honor, I request our principal sir to felicitate our esteemed resource persons. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my dear students. Now we will start our technical session. To do this session titled Writing Research Proposal, now I would like to invite Dr. Himanshu Sekhar Rout, Department of Analytical and Applied Economics, Utkal University, Bani Vihar, to deliver his speech. Sir, please.
Okay, good morning to all respected principal sir, organizer, faculty members of Kendrapara Autonomous College, my friend Minaketan, invited faculty members from different colleges, student friends. Before coming to this presentation, I have 2-3 queries from you. Anybody now handling project? Any faculty member handling project? Anybody is here? Anybody handling? From where? From Government of ODISHA. Okay. Which subject? Chemistry. Okay. Anybody applied project? Anybody applied in the pipeline? Anybody from any organization? How many you are preparing now, presently? No. How many you are thinking to apply in the next 2-3 months? Because now ICSSR is open. Okay, 2-3 are there. Others for the next year you want to be, you are going to apply. Okay. Because you know the applying project PhD also is a compulsory. PhD you should have PhD. So telling something in 1 or 2 hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour, इसमें कुछ नहीं होगा. ठीक है. So I think all of you are from Odisha. Any किए अछंती जे ओडिया बुझी परिबेनी? Okay, okay. Online participants are there. Actually, this what I have prepared. This is for the faculty members, those who want to apply project for funding purpose. Many students are there. Of course, research proposal for PhD, MA or MPhil, they are somehow different than this funding project. There are difference in the components. Good at the date too. Upurda. Huh? So writing research proposal for PhD and writing research proposal, funding research proposal, there are certain differences there. So but some commonalities also there, some common points are there. So please excuse me students, if you want a PhD proposal, that is different, okay. So I am not going to do that. But still those who are here, anybody want, what is the objective, why you came here? Any objective is there with you that if you are really interested, then please have serious. Nowadays, if you only teach in the college, you will join as a lecturer, retired as a lecturer, assistant professor. That's all. If you want to progress in your career, then please do some research, do something for the society, do something extension activities. That counts. Otherwise, only teaching ये जमाना था बहुत पहले ये this thing was there, only teaching was the main objective. But now the objective is different, teaching, research, publication, extension. Okay, let me come to this. I will very quickly I will come. I don't know if this much I will take only, it will take one day. But I will give some time to the most experienced person, Minaketan. So from here, some garbage things only I will tell. The main pinpointed thing in the next lecture will come. Okay. So maybe what is research proposal, type of research proposal, whatever the headings were there in the brochure. That's why I put that. And components of a funding research proposal, that is the main thing. What are the components? I will spell out the components. The next speaker will tell each and every point. Only one point I will tell about that research problem or effect, how to choose a research problem. And there was another heading in the proposal, that effective writing technique, but I don't know how far I will be eligible, but still some 1-2 slide is there for writing technique. Now students are there. Can anybody tell what is research? Very short. What is research? Yes. No. Yes, student, yes. Very good. It is a systematic process of getting new outcome. Very good. You are PG? Postgraduate student, graduate? Very good. So, there are a lot of definitions are there. Somebody told searching again and again, many. But if somebody want a very crispy, we like crispy things. So, there is a scientific process and there is a new finding. That is the two major point. You should have scientific method, and scientific method has three things. One is experiment, observation, logical argument. Three things will be there. Through this experiment, observation, and logical argument, you should find out something new or novel. And how do you know it is new or novel? It should not be in the old thing. It should not be in the stock of knowledge. Whatever knowledge is available, it should not be there. So you should verify that. Otherwise, it is like a stealing. Bringing somebody's knowledge and telling this is new. Okay. And what is a research proposal? This is research. A research proposal is a scientific endeavor to answer a research question. You should have a research question, and scientifically or in scientific method, you have to find out the solution to that. Please remember these two, research question and the scientific method. Okay. Every question cannot be a research question. There are certain characteristics to be a research question. Every problem is not a research problem. Suppose I will tell a problem is how I will reach half an hour from Bhubaneswar to Delhi. I want to reach half an hour. Within half an hour, I want to reach from Bhubaneswar to Delhi. What is the solution? Now, I want to fly from Kendrapara to Bhubaneswar. I want to fly, nothing else with me. How I will do it? Is it a problem? I don't know. Now it may not be a problem. Maybe after some year it may be a problem. But now there is no solution to it. And there is no probability that I can get a solution also. So something, whether it is researchable or not, whether it is feasible or not, we will go some characteristics. Which problem will be a research problem? Every problem cannot be a research problem. So you should have a research problem for which you should have some answer. And when I am telling research proposal, and this research proposal are different types. I will come to the types in the next slide. But actually we are dealing with funding research problem. Funding research proposal. A research proposal, funding research proposal is a request for financial assistance to pursue a research project within a given time, cost and conditions. So I am applying it somebody else to give some fund to me, and I have a commitment of time, commitment of cost and commitment of many conditions. UGC has different condition, ICSS are different condition. I am applying World Bank has a different condition. If I am applying for IMF has different condition. So the conditions are there. You have to sign the conditions. You have a timeline. You should have integrity. You should keep the time. Otherwise you will be a defaulter. And cost, whatever cost is there, you have to do in that. You cannot tell, I cannot do with this cost. So be careful for this time, cost and the conditions are there. Conditions may be, you cannot speak about the product before the output is discussed with the agency. Suppose government has given to a program to evaluate how the Subhadra Yojana is working, and you found that no Lakhyapati Didi has created in my result. And you cannot go and tell, because government has a condition before going to public, you cannot public the result. You have to submit the report. You don't have the right. So these are type of conditions are there. Many conditions when you do the research proposal. Okay. So now I come to the types of research proposal. There are research proposals based on purpose, based on different conditions. On the basis of purpose, your research proposal may be academic research proposal, like students are sitting for MM proposal, PhD proposal, MPhil proposal, where emphasis mainly on theory, methodology, or contribution to the knowledge. You are creating the knowledge. You may not think about whether it will be applicable to society. I will create a product, I will create a copyright or something not like that. You may go for funding or grant research. This part we are discussing. So when there is a funding research, you have to submit funding agency like UGC, ICSSR, DST, World Bank, IMF, your Government of ODISHA, and you focus its feasibility, budget, outcome and social relevance. Most important, you should have some social relevance. You may have also policy research proposals. Sometimes we prepare policy research, policy brief. From the project also we can bring policy brief, but separate policy brief also can be prepared as a project. We have done a child policy for Odisha, that is a only policy brief, policy document. So in that case you have to inform the policy decision, and generally we give to think tanks, we give to government, NGO prepared it. So this is the purpose, is very practical on this. And sometime we do consultancy. Suppose a industry will come up here, we want to make a social impact analysis, environmental impact analysis, this type of funding also, or a company has a particular issue, how to solve the issue. Suppose there is a manpower issue or strike, gherao, lockout issue, how to solve that. So you will have consultancy type of thing where you prepared industry sponsored research which is mainly focused on innovation, maybe new product diversification or application, or suppose somebody had got a product and how to commercialize that product, marketing, how will do it. So that type of is, this is based on the purpose. We may go to see on the basis of research approach. Different research approach are there. So on approach you may have quantitative research, qualitative research and mixed research. You know, quantitative research means you will have use of numerical data, survey, experiments, where you use test hypothesis, use test research questions. These are quantitative. Qualitative, where you will have interview, focus group discussion, all these things. And mixed method. Nowadays people are doing very famous mixed method. They will do some, because only quantitative, very less research will be there. Without qualitative, especially in social science, I am telling, social science. But in science, more quantitative. In social science, some subjects are there only qualitative. But in economics, we use morely mixed method nowadays. And without mixed method, you may not get a good research. Mixed method means you will both qualitative and quantitative. Okay, the third is based on nature of the study. What type of nature of the study? Under that category, you may have exploratory study where you investigate new or unresearched or under-researched problem, where you want to explore something new. Everywhere new thing is there, but here investigation, identifying variables, identifying hypothesis, exploratory research. And we have also descriptive research, like history, we have described the thing, whatever remains, we describe it, what remains. It is, people may not know it, so there is excavation. There is a new, suppose maybe in a temple, there is new motifs are there, new culture, new artistic things are there. So that type of you can describe. We also describe in economics with trend, pattern. Wherever trend pattern is there, we know that is the descriptive. And there is analytical, where you can take the descriptive thing, you can take the exploratory thing, and you can go beyond that. You can predict something, you can analyze something, maybe relationship, and combined with theory and analytics. You can go beyond only descriptive. You can predict. The fourth thing is based on time frame. Based on time frame, different type of research proposal you may tell. You may tell cross-sectional, longitudinal or panel. If anybody is not getting, I'm going very quickly because these things all you know, but if you have any doubt, you can raise and we can discuss. So if it is cross-section at a particular point of time you are doing, if it is longitudinal for a long period of time, maybe 10 years, 20 years data you can take, but in panel you both combine cross-section and time series. You can combine, suppose I can tell a literacy rate from 1871 to 2011 of all the states of India. So now the time series is from 1871 census or 1881 census to 2011 census, time series, and all the states. So that is your cross section. So time series and cross section both is there. Based on application to the society, benefit to the society, on that type of thing, research may be four types. One is basic, where only for knowledge sake, mainly philosophers, all we do PhD, doctorate of philosophy. Everybody, without reading philosophy, we become doctorate of philosophy. So we do pure research, aim to expand the theoretical knowledge. Applied research, where we do research, we give potential solution. We as a researcher, we don't go to the field and implement it, but we suggest to the government. We give potential solutions to the problem. That is known as applied research. Then policy research, whatever the potential things are there, if a policy maker is implementing in a policy, that is policy research. So when suppose a policy is coming, they are getting the input from the applied research and they are making policy. So that is policy research. And when you tell action research, generally NGO people, they go to the field, collect data, they found the problem, in that they started action. Suppose a school, they are going to a school, teacher is not there, they found, students are very weak. So they appoint teacher, they start teaching, they also found what is the result are coming. So it is action. Suppose there is no water in an area, or electricity is 1 hour is there, how to 24 hours they will give electricity. So they do research, water resources available, hydro project start, or sunlight. You start giving solution, instant solution there. But as an academician, we don't do that. We do applied research. We only suggest government, we suggest NGOs. So that is based on the application. We have this 4 types. And research may be social science research, scientific, clinical, interdisciplinary. So I conclude here types of research. At this point of time, any doubt? Okay. Now come to the major component of funding proposal. These are the component of a research proposal for funding, not for PhD. Okay? That is funding research. You should have a title page. You should have executive summary. Love at first place, that is known as love at first place. Reading the executive summary, those who are there in the bureaucratic level, selection level, they may not read all your 30 page, 40 page. Only the first page, 1 page or 1.5 page abstract or executive summary, they will know. So you should prepare in such a manner that they should read you should make them to read all your 30 pages. So you should write in such a manner by which they will be interested to read the whole document. So that is your executive summary. You introduce your organization from which you are coming. Then comes actually research problem like PhD research problem, introduction or motivation, review of literature, research problem, research design, data method, expected outcomes. Or nowadays we are telling theory of change. Suppose you are doing a research, what is the change you are going to bring through your research? You are in a point of time T, you are going to T1 point, T plus 1. So from T0 to T plus 1, what change you are going to make by your project? So that you should come out in your research project proposal. You should explain what is your theory of change through your research proposal. So that, or what is the expected outcome of your research. That is most important. Whether it may not be very important for a PhD proposal, but for project proposal very important. Then time frame and budget is very important also for the research proposal. So these are the components. I think Professor Behera will explain all these points with what are the funding source, but I am not going to this. But I will take only one point on research problem, how to identify research problem. Okay, before going to research problem, where to get this research problem? Generally, can we discuss something? Otherwise, it is a monotonous. How to select research problem? Where to get it? कहाँ से मिलेगा रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम? कहाँ से मिलेगा? बैंक से, गांव से, walk of life? Yes? Where to get the research problems? Huh? Very good. That is, one is your scholarly arena. Scholarly literature you read, whatever is there, you are thinking something beyond that, you are finding a research gap. Generally, PhD students, MA students, MPhil students, they do. That is your review of literature. From the literature you get. That is one which is a major chunk. Any other way is there to find out research problem? Yes? Anything? Research? Senior research person, okay. Okay. Any other point? Own institution, yes. Intuition, okay. How do you intuit? How?
Because you will go for preliminary study somewhere. You will have exposure, then only you can define research.
Okay, I take this point. Yes. Somebody was telling, from the society itself, from my village, when I am traveling in the bus, I have a problem. From our experience, we can get the problem. Once I many times I tell this senior bureaucrat was doing a PhD under my guidance, and he told, why should I read? The problem with me, I have 25 years of Indian administrative service, and I know the problem of the society, the policy. Why should I read? You are telling to read 200 literature. I am having the problem. I told, what is your problem? Now all the policies are fail in India. What is the cause? I told, many research has been done. No, I am not getting any research, any solution to this. But my solution, I have to find out. I know what is the problem. Then of course, you see how research problem comes from within, from the experience. You have seen, suppose in Odisha State Transport Corporation, OSRTC, bus, private bus, which you prefer? You prefer government bus. You see government bus are running back-end. Buses, nowadays somehow good buses are there, otherwise you tell 10 years back. Buses, long tour buses, they go back-end. Private bus, everybody prefer private bus. But you see the AMO bus or MO bus, huge rush. Why this paradox? It not come to your mind? Why this AMO bus is lot of rush, whereas the long tour bus OSRTC is losing? There is a heavy loss. My point is, questions comes from your experience. In your institution, in your home, in your village also. Another village, they have the village fund, very good fund in their puja or whatever they are doing. They have good fund in the village. Why in your village there is no fund? Have you managed the common property properly? You have a mango forest, you have pond, you have grazeland in your village. Different common property resources are there in the village. How they manage? Why one village is doing better, my village is not doing better? These questions should come out from within. So research problem can come from our experience, and also what the scholarly arena also doing the literature survey. Of course, even if you bring from your experience, you should substantiate it. Everywhere you have to substantiate. When I am doing research review of literature, I substantiate with literature. But still, when the senior IAS officer was telling that I am having the problem, then I gave many literature. Then he understood, yes, sir, yes, literature also is there. So my experience also supplemented by literature. Then there will be a good research. So research problem you can find out through the review of literature and from your experience. Okay, and research problem, when you can tell some problem is a research problem. For that, little bit, try to understand it. I want to put in a framework. Suppose you have a research problem and it has one solution only. Can it be a research problem? Yes. One problem is there, only one solution. Can it be a research problem? Yes or no? No, it cannot be a research problem. Already solution is there. Research problem is I have to find out solution. If one solution, no need for, please, research is a very costly matter. Time, money, it is a very costly matter. Resources, don't think research is very less money it required huge money. So, at least two solutions should be there. I have to find one solution, the best solution. I have to do the research. Let us say any problem has two courses of action, C1 and C2. Two courses of action should be there. What I will do for the solution. And let us say the C1, two courses of action, C1 has an outcome of O1 and C2 has outcome of O2. If I will follow C1 courses of action, I will get an outcome O1, and if I will follow a courses of action 2, then I will get O2. You may take n number, but I am telling only minimum 2. Without minimum 2, I cannot have the problem, research problem, if the courses of action is 1. And let us say there is an individual in the society. किसके लिए करेंगे? इंडिविजुअल के लिए करेंगे ना, ह्यूमन बीइंग के लिए. मिनिमम लेट अस से वन इंडिविजुअल शुड बी देयर, एंड द इंडिविजुअल हैज सम कंट्रोलेबल फैक्टर एंड सम अनकंट्रोलेबल फैक्टर. हम सोसाइटी में जब रहते हैं ना, वी हैव सर्टेन फैक्टर व्हिच इज इन आवर कंट्रोल एंड देयर आर मेनी फैक्टर व्हिच इज नॉट इन आवर कंट्रोल. यस और नो? एंड यू आर स्टेइंग इन एन एनवायरमेंट. Let us say the I individual, you are the individual. You are staying in an environment E and you have certain controllable factor and certain uncontrollable factor. Uncontrollable factor, I don't have control. Suppose I am doing a research problem in Kendrapara college. Suppose this program I am doing and suddenly some fire is there. God should not be. But certain something is there. So what will happen? That not in my control. Are you getting? So there are many uncontrollable factors, unexpected factors are there, but there are certain control factor is there. Suppose the probability, I am very reluctantly using these terms. If anybody inconvenient, please excuse me. Reluctantly using these terms. If anybody inconvenient, please excuse me. Probability means certain percentage it will happen, the happening of the thing. Suppose probability of output 1 means the output of courses of action 1 under the condition that particular individual with the courses of 1 C1 and with the given environment. Environment given, the courses of action 1 is there, and the individual I getting output 1. If he is getting same output, same individual, same environment with courses 2, C2, then it is not a problem. It will be a problem if both are unequal. Means the same output I cannot get from C1 and C2. That is very simple. That is my point only. Only I am putting in a form. So don't see that if you are not getting, but if you are getting, it's very good. That means I am getting the output from C1 is O1 and C2 is O2 and they are not same. Then it will be a problem. If both are same, it cannot be a problem. So please, when you are taking a problem, try to visualize this. Who is the person for whom I am doing, in which environment I am doing, and what are the courses of action. That you should keep in mind in theoretically. Okay. Now, what are the components? Already I told that your problem will be there when there is certain difficulty level. If there is a certain difficulty, then only problem is there. That is the first condition. Second condition, there are certain objectives to be attained. There must be certain alternative courses of action. These are the components of a research problem. And there must be remain certain doubt in the mind of the researcher about the selection of alternatives. You should have certain doubt. Many times students comes with a question and they also come with certain answer. Then I tell, if you have the answer, then where is your problem? You have the answer and you have to answer. You have to find out the answer. So you come with a problem which has no answer. You have to find out the answer. There must be certain environment in which certain difficulty is there. If suppose some environment is there, huge amount of money is there, everything is available, everything is free, then there is no problem. So, thus a research problem requires a research to find out the best solution for a given problem, to find out by which courses of action the objective can be attained optimally in the context of given environment. Okay, what are the characteristics of a research problem? The first thing is that you should advance the knowledge. Whatever knowledge is there now, in present period, you should add something new. That means some novelty should be there. That is the first. The second is novel. You are adding and something new thing, and it should be timely. You should not do research which is already obsolete. If somebody will do certain research on typewriter, no value. You have to do research in computer. How computer will improve? You should not go for the typewriter technology. So what is the timely? What is the society needs? Timely. Then it should be significant. The research problem should be significant in the sense that your research should have an impact. Your research should have an impact on theory, your research should have certain impact on practice, and your research should have some impact on policy. Then it will be significant. Otherwise, it has no value doing research. That's why many times we ask the student in PhD Viva, if you could not have done this PhD, what would happen? सोसाइटी का कुछ लॉस हो जाना था क्या? किसी PhD न करते तो कौन की भाषी था कि if the researcher tell yes, this thing could not have been done in the society if I have not done my PhD, then only it is significant. So how you are contributing to theory, policy and practice, that is important. And this is the point I was telling. Your research problem should be researchable. It should be feasible. It should be doable. Doable in terms of your time, in terms of your finance, in terms of your research, in terms of your authority. You should have that authority to do that. Suppose I am the field of health economics and somebody will come to give me they tell that please do some research on this inflation targeting. I cannot do that because that is not my authority. I cannot do that. Maybe some other person can do that. So I can see that it should have potential impact on theory, on researchable, feasibility. Yes, feasibility part I was telling. So you should have money, you should have time, you should have all the resources to do this. And the problem should be doable, has some solution. Your research problem should be clear, should be precise, should be concise, and should be specific. Please carefully use this 4 things. Clear, no ambiguity. Precise. Nobody can rewrite it without depreciating the meaning. You are so specific in writing conveying the thing to people, communicating to the people so clearly, so precisely, so concisely. Nobody can write with less word than you, whatever you have written, that is concise. And you should be focused. Don't bring any vague things. Like suppose I want to do poverty in India, one topic. Inflation in India, unemployment in, these are not topics like this. So your topics should be very clear, precise, concise and focused. And your research problems should be rooted through evidence. It should be verifiable. It should be reproducible. What is the meaning that? rooted evidence, reproducible, verifiable, means you give your whatever you have done, that tool you give to me, I should get the same result. Like in science, suppose, like formula, you are giving a medicine formula. You are producing a medicine and giving one formula. Give the formula, I can produce, same reproducible. Nowadays, suppose social science, somebody using R software, you are writing codes. That same code you have to give to me, I can also reproduce that. Or I can slightly modify it, I can find out something. So reproducibility should be there. Otherwise, that shows your scientificness. So these are some of the characteristics of your research problem. Okay, precautions, what are the precautions? Because you have more questions. So, the precautions is, please, those who are average researcher, what type of researcher you know? I am a very top researcher, average researcher, in a very now starting researcher. What type of researcher we know? Our standard we know. Yes or no? So, don't do overdone things. The research which an overdone subject should not normally be chosen by a average researcher. If certain area, lot of research has been done, don't choose that. Choose certain new things where less research has been done. We know that areas. If you tell in economics, I can tell, suppose in health economics, because you cannot compare as very less has been done. Don't go there. Because you cannot compete with the top researchers. So, don't do that. Many researchers, they thought that I will put my finger in the controversial topic by which my name will come. Don't touch that controversial thing as an average researcher. When you will be very experienced, go there, you will get your name. Because many, they thought that if I will put in controversial things, naam aayega na? So, please, as a junior researcher or researcher, to everybody, I treat everybody's friend as peers. But still, as a average researcher, don't touch with for the time being. After that, you go for controversial topic. Don't do too narrow or too vague. Like I was telling, I will do a topic poverty in India or poverty in ODISHA. The subject selected research, don't do that. The subject selected research should be familiar and feasible. You should know something, you should be familiar with that. Otherwise, don't go there. You should have certain authority, minimum authority on that. Then, the importance of subject, the qualification and training of the researcher, the costs involved, and the time factor. These are also important points. Take precaution about that. And the selection of problem must be preceded by, somebody was telling, sir was telling, should go to the field at least before doing the research problem, choosing the research problem. You should go to the field once or twice, have some experience. Even if you have chosen through your review of literature. You should verify slightly before going detail. So that factor you should take care. Don't only sitting in the desk research, only sitting review, don't do that. Slightly go to the field, see something and do this. So the selection of problem must be preceded by a preliminary small study. Okay, I will leave these 5 points, 5 W's. Why, what, where, when, who. These 5 questions you should ask about your research problem. In whatever form. Please remember, ask these 5 questions. For time's sake, I am leaving these 2 slides. Okay, I am giving one example of how to identify research problem. You have a broad area. From the broad area, one broad area you choose. In your field, suppose in economics, there are different fields are there. Choose your own field. Suppose here in In rural economics, suppose in rural economics you have rural livelihood, agriculture, rural health, education, skill, migration, gender, local governance, rural infrastructure, environment, climate change. These are broad topic in rural areas, in rural studies. Choose one of them. That is your first task. Second task is conduct a situational study. See some data, verify it. At least some overlook of census, NSSO data, some idea, basic idea, like preliminary study I was telling. Before choosing your problem, don't tell that after choosing I will go there and see. Before that, please check, see the government policies, do some findings, preliminary findings. That is the second part. The third part is engage with the community. These problems are best understood from the ground. The third point is do some preliminary interview or discussion. Next is look the gap and contradictions. What are the contradictions? What are the gaps are there? So a research problem often lies evidence is insufficient. Whenever you are searching, you found that evidence is insufficient. Data shows inconsistencies, might be getting. There may be policy exists, but implementation lacks. Community needs do not match with official priorities. Society ka requirement different hai, government is telling differently. These broad ideas, things will come to your mind. Technology adoption varies unexpectedly. Yes, technology in rural area it is not there, in some other area it is there. So these are the broad things from which please first capture it before going to find out your research gap. Then evaluate the feasibility. Now you have certain questions in your mind. Now evaluate yourself. You evaluate it. Whether it is relevant, whether it is researchable, whether it is ethical. Now ethics is a big thing. Please, let me tell, whenever you have your research proposal, it should be passed through the ethics committee, institutional ethics committee. Every institution should have an institutional ethics committee. Ethics committee should pass. There are a lot of ethical grounds like informed consent, confidentiality, anonymity. These points should be taken care of. So ethical issues, check it. Check specific enough to study meaningful. Yes, it will give a good solution to theory, to practice, to policy. Convince you, if you are convinced, proceed on. Significant, and convert it to a research question. Then your research question you may fine tune. Go to your research question. Like, for example, one I have given, suppose livelihood. Why does youth out-migration persist despite rural entrepreneurship scheme? We are telling lot of rural entrepreneurship programs are there in the rural area, but still migration is very high. From rural area they are migrating to town, migrating to other state. Why? What is the cause? No answer? Do that. Suppose in agriculture, what factors limit small farmers adopt solar power irrigation? Solar power is there, na, free. Why farmers are not using? What's the issues? Infrastructure. How does lack of rural transport connectivity affect school attendance among girls? These are some of the examples just I am bringing. Health. Why do maternal health indicators remain low despite ASHA outreach? We are telling ASHA is everywhere, but still institutional delivery is not up to the mark. People are not going to the hospital for delivery. Why? ASHA is there. Her duty is to take to hospital. Governance. What explains low participation in Gram Sabha? Gram Sabha is there, but people are not coming. How is climate variability affect tribal communities or tribal agriculture? So these are some of the research questions how we will frame. Just my last part is writing, please remember, we know many things. We do very good research. But if you are unable to communicate to other, then the meaningless. We have done a very fantastic research, but we are unable to communicate to our peers, communicate to our audience, communicate to the government. It is not reaching to the appropriate place. Then ये research करने का कुछ फायदा नहीं है. How to communicate? Your communication skill should be there. And when I am telling communication skill, don't take that it is a literature writing. It is a scientific writing. It is a writing, very simple English, powerful. Simple is powerful. Don't use any jargon. Okay? Communication is also bad for the big researcher, Nobel laureates also. The Nobel laureates, when they write the article, they send for copy editing also, for a copy editor. Make a point, whatever you are writing, send for a copy editor, send for a person who can edit it. So, communication is very important. So, I am just, yes, good academic writing. Please understand the purpose, communicate research clearly, contribute to the existing literature, demonstrate analytically, critically, inform the policy. We are doing it, but we are not sending anywhere. Thousands of PhD theses are lying in the PhD in the Parija library of Utkal University. People are dare to publish from that. Why? Lot of PhD theses are lying in the Parija library, na? People have done, na? But they don't want to publish that. Publish करने में दूसरा लोग को पता चल जाएगा क्या किया है. ये communication का, they don't have confidence. Nowadays, first you publish, then you will get PhD. Now you have to publish from your PhD thesis, then only you will get a PhD. So you communicate, inform policy, inform practice, inform theory. Your academic writing should be clear, precise, objective, logical, formally written, no casual writing. When you are writing, should very, each and every word should count. Don't use any word which is worthless. If any one word will remove from your writing, there will be handicap in the meaning. In such a manner you should write. Otherwise you write, if two paragraph also you can omit, no problem. First paragraph and fourth paragraph continue without the two paragraph. So don't write like that. If one paragraph, one word can be removed, there will be handicap in the meaning. In such a manner you should write. I think I will stop here. Okay. Word, sentence, paragraph, I just left here. Your words should be short, should be accurate, unambiguous, and use only necessary word. In paragraph, use active voice. Okay, another important thing, those who are writing proposal for funding or for PhD, it should be written in which tense? Which tense? Simple future. You are going to do, but review of literature part should be in past tense. So that also you should be very careful about that. And use always active voice. Be direct. Keep related words together. Use past tense wherever is necessary in your review of literature. Break all the above guidelines if anybody require it. And in paragraph, each paragraph should have one meaning, one idea. Don't put two, three ideas in one paragraph. And before writing the paragraph, how many sentences you are going to write? I have seen one page, one paragraph. People don't have time to read. They lose interest. Nowadays, students are not reading. So if you want to make somebody read, make small paragraphs. 3-4 sentences, 5 sentences maximum in one paragraph. So your one idea, prepare 5 sentences, find out the most important sentence that should be in the most important sentence where it will be lying. In a paragraph, the most important sentence where it will be. It will be the first sentence. Second important sentence will be last, in between other three sentences. Because the second important sentence should be in the last, because you have to connect to the next paragraph. The idea you have to connect in the next paragraph. So please, these small tips just you remember. And I think I stop here, and we'll hand over to Professor Behera.
Thank you, sir, for this enlightening session. Now we'll move to session 2, which is titled Research Proposal Funding. I would like to invite Dr. Minaketan, sir. Yeah, I'd like to invite Dr. Minaketan Behera, sir, to deliver his speech. Sir, please.
Okay, so I think I will start from Kendrapara College. नहीं ये केंद्रापड़ा ये वाला this one this one first yeah okay so thank you sir Himanshu sir already clarify all this point so I will try my best to within this 1 hour please you will ask me questions. I will try my own experience as a researcher rather than giving the lectures. Okay, so remember one thing, so whenever I will combine together, because if you go for, I have shared the document, Ditya has shared the document, I hope those who are here, maybe you have got, so you just look it, so I will share my own proposal, how to write, then I will, all the students, my intention is that to take care of the students. So remember all my dear researcher, young researcher, you needs to write research proposal. Remember starts end with that you needs to write research proposal in future tense. Remember one thing. I remember when I was a 7 student from ODISHA. 7 students from ODISHA, they go for PhD interview in JNU. So they have written the proposal in the past tense, copy paste it of the faculty members as we. Okay, so they have not clarity that key we need to write in this. So you tell your students, those who are teacher here, please start with this lecture that your research, anything, any funding proposal you are writing, any research paper you are writing, any article, anything you are writing, all these 3 questions, believe me. Why, what, and how. All this if you go for. Sir is speaking on research problem. Remember one thing, many students, if you go for, so your research problem start from, so you need to ask yourself, first point, what is missing? I will tell all my students, also teacher. So you ask 1,000 times to yourself that how my work is going to be different from the existing research. Otherwise, how I am going to contribute this work to this literature, existing literature. I am talking about social science, so maybe please forgive me. I am not, my background is economics, so if you go for, so any project, if you are applying for funding proposal, the first important topic that you need to select, that whatever, so if you go for, like those who are applying funding proposal, please first go to the guideline. What is the, suppose you talk about ICSSR, in Indian social science, so if you go for, you just look at it, I have already identified, so many others are there. So all my dear friends, that if you go for UGC have stopped, University Grant Commission is not giving any research. Earlier it was giving, now stopped. Only one thing, that ICSSR, Indian Council for Social Science Research. So I always encourage, So don't think that if you are in JNU, in Hyderabad, in BHU, so all the faculty members know better. No, nothing is there. Only thing is that information is there, and also there is a little bit of hard working. Okay, and the third point is the interest. So please, I request all the faculty members in the social science. Now it is interdisciplinary. Now like you, if you go for DST, Science and Technology, is giving funding to PBTG 1 crores, 2 crores, 3 crores. Okay, so Department of Science and Technology. So in that sense, so please try to write, try to apply. Remember one thing, I apply, since so far I have completed, if you go for last 4 years, I have applied 4 proposals to ICSR. It is rejected. But continuously I am applying. So I have completed many projects of different ministry, but now continuously since last 4 years. So in that sense, that does not motivate me that I will not stop. So please apply. Okay, so you just look at it. If you go for, this is one thing. All my dear students, so I have already shared this document in this, I hope, did you share? Yes. So those who are students here, just quickly go to this outline. Those who are teacher, you just go to the light line. So if you look at these 2 outline, just if you go for, so funding generally, many differences are there. I will now come to this funding proposal with an example. So what is the difference? The difference between academic research proposal, what sir is explaining, if you go for like your MS seminar paper, MPhil dissertation, PhD thesis, project report, now you know National Education Policy 2020. Research methods is mandatory. If you want to do 75% is mandatory to continue for your 1 degree master program, and also you can enter to directly PhD program after graduations. So research component is very, very essential. Now if you go for the funding proposal and the academic proposal, only 2 differences are there. One is that in academic proposal, if you go for these 2 lines I have written, so you just look at it, time and budget. Those all the PhD student, MA student, MPhil students, graduation students, you need not write the budget and time. भाई मुझे 5 लाख रुपया दे दो, मैं ये स्टडी करूँगा और 2 साल में करूँगा. ये 2 I will explain detail. Overall, all the point, a researcher is writing, so like the way sir is explaining, starting from, you just look at it. I will just give idea, then I will come to this one example on this one particularly ICSR funding proposal. So you just look at it, budget, time is different on this aspect. So now, so first point, you needs to, always all the researcher, you needs to ask that what is research gap. ये टीचर को भी पूछना चाहिए, क्योंकि you needs to teach your student, भाई what do you mean by research gap? Okay, so in that concept, so always, because research gap will give you the research problem, research gap will give you the research questions, research question gap will give you the research objective and research hypothesis. Believe me, tell you needs to, all these students, please, all my request, please don't use mobile. At least if you want to listen, please listen. Don't use mobile. I don't like that I am speaking something and all, please don't make it like that. Okay, all my dear students. So if you go for, so you needs to ask first question, research gap. Sir is already explained. So remember one thing. So if you are clear on research gap, okay, so I have given many examples, many lectures on this platform. So that if you go for, so on this point, sir already explained, I am not going for it. So you needs to first point is your research gap. कहाँ से मिलेगा? Sir already explained, review of literature. और कहाँ से मिलेगा? Remember one thing, those who are students, there is, if you go for शोध गंगा, शोध गंगात्री नाम सुना है? आई हैव रिसर्चर, जितना रिसर्चर है सोशल साइंस में मुझे नॉलेज नहीं है. शोध गंगा जो है, इफ यू गो फॉर शोध गंगा, सो ऑल थीसिस आर देयर, ऑल थीसिस. और शोध गंगात्री है ऑल प्रपोजल, जो सिनॉप्सिस जिसको बोलते हैं. स्टूडेंट भी यहाँ है, मुझे पूछते हैं कि क्या सर रिसर्च प्रपोजल में सिनॉप्सिस में कोई अंतर है? ओके, तो ये जो छोटा छोटा चीज है आपको क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहिए. तो जेएनयू का जो स्टूडेंट है कोई अलग नहीं है, ऑल आर इक्वल. यू जस्ट इमेजिन इफ आई एम स्टूडेंट ऑफ हियर and I am faculty in JNU, so then why can't you, all students, those who are here, you can do it, nothing is possible. So you have to work hard. Okay, so now, so if you go for, you identify all these things. Now, all this point that I have given. So, this is the idea. So, your research proposal, those who are writing synopsis, and also your budget. So, on this contest, I will give you one, because this is the funding proposal. So the first important point, you needs to, where you needs to give more emphasis. First, भाई apply करो. ये mandatory बना दीजिए कि भाई हमको apply करना, होना नहीं होना, that is different story. You needs to apply any funding. So far, suppose I am part of the ICCR. So this, if you go for DST, then your Ministry of Tribal Affairs, then your Niti Aayog, I'm social science, broadly जो लोग दे रहा है, तो at least, or international, you know, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, then your ILO, they are funding. Research wing is there, not for this research, they are giving also like this scholarship. They are giving also per conference and seminar. So at least try to apply that. Okay, that is the first point. What you need to do, not just first point, go to the guideline. भाई ICCR का guideline क्या है? जब guideline आप पढ़ लेंगे, then you go to this, what is the theme? Like if you go for all this, like DST last time apply only for PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, PVTG. Like if you go for ICSSR, so they have identified all the core theme. वो आप उसका instruction में है, you can just look at it on that dimensions. Then, where proposal is rejected, I will say contemporary times, you know, close last time, in the contemporary times, you know, close last time, close to maybe 14,000 some proposal was there. 14,000. Social science, ICCR. And they are giving less than 4%. Less than 4% on that. Sir is also one got this longitudinal study, Himanshu sir is there. So if you go for, so the important dimension, most of the proposal that we are talking about. So this if you go for, so you select a topic which is very contemporary. I always say, all the research scholars, those who are here, please select a topic which is very contemporary, very relevant, and also that will give you to get your job in future. ये आपको करना है. जैसे मैं एग्जाम्पल बोल रहा हूँ कि गिग इकोनॉमी, प्लेटफॉर्म इकोनॉमी, सोशल सिक्योरिटी, क्लाइमेट चेंज, ओके, योर AI, artificial intelligence. You talk about AI, particularly AI and labor market. AI, all new area. So many new area, at least you can, in terms of publications also, you can give emphasis, because now, like now, what is important? Now we are talking about in the contemporary times that we call it Indian knowledge system. You apply for seminar, you apply for conference, you apply for this project, Indian knowledge system. oh, traditional knowledge system, indigenous skills, particularly many areas are there. So you just go to the guideline and try to apply for that. Okay, this is the past, my own experience. Rejection, I say, AI. 90% of the faculty member, including student, my all dear students, please believe me. Now AI make you that you are not using your brains. That totally declined. 80, my PhD students last time gave a assignment with 90% AI. 90%. And do you know the confidence of the students? Confidence is very overconfidence. And they think themselves the teacher do not know anything. Most of the cases. But you believe me, and so on that ground, so please, now it is makes mandatory that you needs to attach the AI report. It is now ICCR or many funding agency, they have given that you needs to submit AI report with your, so earlier, that is the case, because AI doing excellent job in that's the point, first you need to get. The another problem, if a proposal is rejected, if you go for, suppose the reference that you have given, always article is also rejected. I am telling my own experience, because in this reference you will find 45 reference. I have seen 65 रेफरेंस और 6 रेफरेंस में नहीं है आपका बॉडी में. Inside this, particularly in the main body of the proposal, nothing is there. Okay, same like articles also. So most, remember one thing, so you needs to, whatever article you are reading or you are writing for your proposal, so please try to use that article which is relevant, contemporary, and also from a peer review. Okay, may not like your website, you click, you will find thousands articles on that. And the last point I say, suppose I am working on tribes, Professor Khaka, I am working on caste, Ashwini Deshpande, Amit Sukhdev Thorat, those who are in your area, so those who are expert in that area, please at least 7, 8, all the established figure, your reference should be there. Because whenever I go to evaluate this proposal, immediately I go to this reference that whatever author has actually read or not, which book he or she has cited on that. Then I determine whether, if suppose you are working on caste and you are not referring to the Sukhdev Thorat or Ashwini Deshpande, I think that you have no idea, you have not gone through this. So my humble request is that, so you as a researcher, so any paper, and all this, not for you, all this my young friends, so you needs to do that things. Just most, always, maybe 10. Okay, everything that you are writing in the reference, that should be exactly to your, the point that you are talking about in your test, in test. क्योंकि काफ़ी लोग वो नहीं करते हैं, आपका देखना रेफरेंस में 70 है और उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है, ये से भी हुआ है. तो ये चीज़ if you go for, that is the important dimensions you needs to keep in mind. Okay, so this is the general idea. And then third point, I will explain this point. Methodology, if you go for, where is the methodology is missing. If you write, all my dear students, methodology सबसे emphasis more होना चाहिए. You needs to write your methodology in a, like all the points that I have written, just look at it. The nature of the study, where is the study located, why you have selected the study area, what is your sample, how you select the sample, how to determine the sample size. Okay, all this point, I have, you just look at it, all this, because my own experience is that in methodology part, you will find very less. That most of the students is missing on this aspect. You just look at the synopsis that we are talking about, they are missing on this aspect. Only one paragraph. Okay, so all my dear those students, if you are writing a paper, if you are writing a synopsis, always आपको मेथोडोलॉजी में सबसे ज्यादा एम्फासिस करना चाहिए. मेथोडोलॉजी में क्या है, ये जितना भी आप लोग फंडिंग प्रपोजल भी लिख रहा है, सबसे इमीडिएटली जब जाते हैं कि भाई आपका रिसर्च गैप क्या है, आपका रिसर्च गैप से आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, और ऑब्जेक्टिव में आपका मेथोडोलॉजी क्या है, यही चीज देखते हैं. दूसरे चीज जाते हैं कि भाई इसका रिलेवेंस क्या है. ओके, तो ये इफ यू गो फॉर, सो आई विल शो यू. कितना टाइम है मुझे थोड़ा बता देना, मुझे टाइम नहीं पता चला. कितना हुआ? 4, ठीक है, टाइम है अभी 1:30 तक. कैन आई कंटिन्यू ना? या ओके. सो इफ यू गो फॉर, सो मेथोडोलॉजी प्लीज. सो यू नीड्स टू, आई हैव ऑलरेडी शेयर. तो और क्या मिसिंग है, हम लोग का जितना टीचर भी है, बिलीव आई एम टेलिंग यू, आई एम ऑल्सो रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट. हम लोग के पास पता नहीं है कि कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क क्या है, थियोरिटिकल फ्रेमवर्क क्या है, और हमारा स्टडी का क्या रिलेवेंस है. मैं जितना भी प्रपोजल इवैल्यूएट किया है, मेरा आज ए रिसर्च स्कॉलर, और जो भी प्रोजेक्ट में इवैल्यूएट करता हूँ, तो सबसे मिसिंग होता है हम लोग का, वी आर वेरी पुअर इन पर्टिकुलरली कॉन्सेप्चुअल फ्रेमवर्क, थियोरिटिकल फ्रेमवर्क. ये होता नहीं है हमारा कोई भी प्रपोजल में, हम लोग पूरा भूल जाते हैं. ओके, तो ये जो पॉइंट है, आई विल एक्सप्लेन इफ यू विल आस्क. तो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर वन थिंग इन द सोशल साइंस, माय हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल द टीचर्स दो हु आर इन द सोशल साइंस, please tell your student to read as much as possible on the conceptual framework, theoretical framework related to their research work. This is very, very important. Okay, sir is telling the research gap in terms of data gap, in terms of methodological gap, in terms of theoretical gap, in terms many dimensions are there. तो ये सबसे important point है कि you needs to understand. I have already written, if you go for this on this point that we are talking about the theoretical and funding proposal. Okay, now this is I will share because I will if you go for, just look at it. I have this. I have prepared one. This is a ICCR proposal. So I thought that I will tell little bit on these dimensions of for the teachers. You needs to apply this funding proposal. So I say you just go to the guideline. The guideline is that you minimum is PhD. Now first remember one thing, don't apply individual. Please, I always say don't apply individual. You try to, I am now always it is promoted as a interdisciplinary. Sociology, economics, पॉलिटिकल साइंस, साइकोलॉजी, ये अभी तीनों, पहले तो 5-6 चल रहा था, मिनिमम 3. ओके, यू एज ए पीआई मस्ट PhD डिग्री. ओके, PhD डिग्री इज मैंडेटरी. ओके, सो अदर करेक्शंस आर देयर एंड यू एटलीस्ट 2 co-PI. सो ऑलवेज नॉट फ्रॉम सेम इंस्टीट्यूशन. सेकेंड क्राइटेरिया, you take Kendrapara, Salehpur and Patamunde College. Maybe all discipline, economics, sociology and political science. Okay, this is the second criteria, because that, another point, remember one thing, my background is on economics. If I am just looking, I am applying for tribals. So if the first point, evaluations, that is how the PI has publications on this, the tribals. The first point, if you have 3 publications on the tribals, you will get 20 points, full point. If you have not, then there is a less possibility, that my humble request, you don't be PI. Okay, those who have publications, so make them as a PI. इसमें कोई चीज अंतर नहीं मिल रहा है, PI point में कुछ है, but if you want to do, this is the point that you needs to keep in mind. Okay, so this is the general idea that you all just look at it. Same this is the format that I have given. So I have already shared these things on this aspect. Remember one thing, always, whenever you are applying this funding proposal, so you need to write the abstract. Okay, abstract means generally remember one thing, all the central themes, that why the study is important, what new things that you want to find, what you want to look for, and what is the methodology. Okay, all this and how it is going to help to the society or the existing literature. जितना भी आप पेपर लिख रहा है, पेपर में क्या अंतर है? पेपर में सब चीज यही है कि भाई आपका बैकग्राउंड है, आपका इसका रिलेवेंस क्या है 2 लाइन में, ऑब्जेक्टिव में 2 लाइन में, आपका मेथोडोलॉजी 2 लाइन में, फाइंडिंग्स 2 लाइन में, उसका सजेशन 2 लाइन में. ये 250 वर्ड है जो भी पेपर आप लिख रहा है. सेम चीज ये है 500 वर्ड में लिखना है, क्योंकि किसी के पास ये क्या है 2 स्टेज में जाता है. जैसे आईसीसीआर का है, दूसरे का है कि पहला एक स्टेज में 14,000 एप्लीकेशन आया हुआ है, तो उसको शॉर्टलिस्ट करना है. तो इफ यू गो फॉर फर्स्ट स्टेज इज they will go to this abstract and is relevant or not, then they will thrown out. Then that we call as a best branch. Then we will go for this your interview, the expert evaluation. Then if you cross this evaluations, there is some score, so the expert will give the score, and then this score you will go for your interview. Okay, so 3 stages are there. Most of the cases, most of the funding proposal, like I was a part of this last time in National Women's Commission. That is one, now you just, those who are here, particularly this young researcher, yesterday, there is a notification for young researcher, particularly for women. Okay, they are giving motivated research. Many people are getting on this research. So please, at least, if you can explore on that dimension, that will be very, very good on that. Okay, so all this, you just look at it. I have, this, I always say, the students, those who are writing a review of literature, वो review of literature में हम क्या करते हैं? रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर में हम एब्स्ट्रैक्ट लिखते हैं. आपको सुपरवाइजर बोला कि रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर दे दो 20 पेज का रिव्यू, 20 पेज का, क्योंकि एआई आ गया, आपको आज बोलो कल मिल जाता है. एआई में 20 पेज का मिला. जब स्टूडेंट को पूछता है क्या पढ़ा हुआ है, सर 20 पेज लिखा हुआ है, हम पढ़ा हुआ है, बहुत चीज पढ़ा हुआ है. जो पूछते हैं क्या गैप है, गैप वो सर वो बिहार में काम हुआ था, मैं उड़ीसा में काम करना चाह रहा हूं. आई एम टेलिंग द ट्रूथ. सो ये चीज नहीं है भाई. आपको सबसे चीज है कि रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर हम इसलिए करते हैं, जो एरिया में मैं अभी काम कर रहा हूं, मेरे से पहले कौन लोग काम किया है, क्या काम किया है, क्या मेथोडोलॉजी था, क्या फाइंडिंग्स था, क्या सजेशन था. वो नहीं है आपका बिजनेस. ये तक तो हो गया. वो क्या नहीं किया है, क्या नहीं देखा हुआ है. अभी मैं लास्ट वीक में वन स्टूडेंट यही चीज में बोलने के बाद किया सेम चीज. लास्ट में मैं बोला कि व्हाट इज योर कमेंट्स ऑन दिस आर्टिकल, योर रिमार्क, लास्ट कॉलम, व्हाट इज योर ऑन दिस, बिकॉज दैट विल गिव यू दिस रिसर्च गैप. ओके, आप लोग को पता है ना रिसर्च गैप क्या है? जितना स्टूडेंट है पढ़ लेना, नहीं है तो पूछना फिर बाद में. तो ये जितना आउटलाइन देखिए आप लोग, इफ यू गो फॉर से रिसर्च गैप का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट ये डायमेंशन है. दीदी इसका थोड़ा बंद करके दूसरे खोल दो एक पीपीटी में, जो एग्जाम्पल है. वही पीपीटी बंद कर, मैं दूसरे, हाँ हाँ दूसरे वाला एग्जाम्पल. हाँ ये डोंट कोट इट. इट इज माई पर्सनल, आई एम जस्ट यूजिंग. आई थॉट दैट मे बी it is better to give a idea on that, taking on this case. So you just look at it. So basically, I try to, this is the topic that I have given for this, on this contest. Basically, what is the role of entrepreneurship on particularly tribal developments. Okay, this is the proposal that, that I have prepared. Taking this proposal, I will try to give the outline that is I have already shared and the ICCR guideline. Okay, so you just look at it, same cheese I have given. Generally, you write abstract, so of 500 words on how your study is going to be helpful for the policymakers, for the planners, for this literature, for the society. ये आपका जो है, इसमें abstract में सब चीज़ लिखना है. आपका उसमें ऑब्जेक्टिव भी रहना चाहिए, आपका इम्पोर्टेंस भी रहना चाहिए, जो हमने ऑलरेडी बताया. सेम चीज यू जस्ट लुक एट इट. सो व्हाट आर दिस द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट डेवलप नेशन बाय 2047 जो कॉन्टेम्पररी डिबेट है. तो इफ यू गो फॉर, सो यू नीड्स टू फॉलो ऑन दिस एस्पेक्ट. सो यू जस्ट लुक एट इट, दिस गैप. So if you go for, this is, if on this contest, so if you go for, you as a researcher, you needs to write in the bullet point how your study or what is there in the literature or how your literature, so your research work is going to contribute or what you want to find out on this contest. So this is the case that I have written, you just look at it. So how particularly if you go for, so I am not going detail on this. These are the different research gap with respect to your study. Always you as a researcher, you needs to give emphasis on this point. Because I say research gap, research questions. Another one thing, your statement of problem. First इसमें proposal में लिखा हुआ था ना, statement of problem. Synopsis में हम लिखते हैं. Statement of problem का मतलब यही है कि आपका जो गैप आपको मिला हुआ है, आपके पास 4-5 गैप मिला हुआ है, लेकिन you are not going to study all the research gap, but you want to study one gap, 2 gap. So you needs to write that gap into a statement that we call as a statement of problem. Okay, technical language, that what is the relevance of the problem in a one paragraph. Okay, so you needs to write that we call as a statement of problem. Okay, then statement of problem, you needs to write the research questions. You just look at it. One thing I will say, sir is explaining research questions. Research questions, what is the difference between research objective and research questions? Any researcher? जितना कोई PhD स्टूडेंट है भाई बताओ, रिसर्च क्वेश्चन में रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव में अंतर क्या है? चलो ये याद रखना, रिसर्च क्वेश्चन जो है, ऑलवेज वी राइट रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस इन क्वेश्चन फॉर्म. हाउ, व्हाई, वेयर, when, all this research question is written in the question form. And your research objective is always written in the action verb, to find out, to analyze, to critical review, to suggest, all this point. So all this, like you just imagine, so with respect to your study, you needs to write on this aspect your, that we call as your objective of the study. हमको सबको पता है. Okay, so you needs to write on this aspect particularly. So whenever you are writing research objective, याद रखना जो ये हो गया जनरली. इफ यू से रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस एंड और डिफरेंस है, मैं बोल नहीं, इफ यू गो फॉर, सो यू जस्ट इमेजिन research question is very general and research objective is very specific. Okay, and this is the other difference are there. So, but for the timing, so you needs to understand research questions and research. Many teachers also they don't have research questions and a research objective. Okay, so you needs to be very clear on this point. Then one thing regarding hypothesis, remember one thing. Please don't write hypothesis in the sense, if it is not mandatory, it is not compulsory that you need to write a hypothesis. But if your supervisor is telling you, and your background is a statistics knowledge, at least you use any statistical analysis, and you are a student of economics, management, psychology, and you are testing a hypothesis. Why I am telling? I have seen many students write hypothesis, no information about the hypothesis rejected or accepted in the discussion chapter. Believe me, it is not fault of the student, it is the fault of the teacher. सब लोग लिख देते हैं सिनॉप्सिस में, कोई बात नहीं होता है कि हाइपोथेसिस क्या था, क्या हुआ, कुछ भी नहीं होता है. तो इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूं कि if you want to do a test, then you write hypothesis, otherwise don't. And sociology, anthropology, political science, not required to write hypothesis, not at all. Okay, if your supervisor is telling, then you write on this aspect. I have already explained this question, you just look at it. So on this aspect that we are talking about, then on this aspect you research questions. So remember one thing, research questions and research hypothesis are two different things. So many people they confuse research questions and same as a research hypothesis. No, that is not true. Your hypothesis is basically an assumption, is a statement that may be true, that may not be true. Okay, so minimum 2 variables should be there whenever you are writing a hypothesis. So you need to be very, very clear on this point that we are talking about. Okay, so you all this point, always research question is written in this question form. You just look at it that I have already given on this aspect. Then you just all this. So this is the most important everywhere, how your research, what is the new aspect that you want to find out with respective to the research study that you want to do for your research work. You just look at it. Oh, because all this, no, that is very, what is missing, what is new? No data on the caste wise, particularly how this particularly women with respect to the entrepreneurship in the tribal area. So how they are getting. So all the dimensions you as a researcher, so you will towards this, on this aspect that what type of new, because if you know this particularly on the context, the women that we are talking about play a significant role for a household, all the children, education, health, all the dimension. So whatever the aspect you as a researcher, so what is your contribution new in this research, so you needs to, okay, so you, maybe I will stop, don't worry, I understand because it is difficult to speak on this. So you just imagine this is the case that I have already explained. Okay, you say same cheese. What this is the most, what is the new data that with respect to whatever the data, if you go for like DST, if you go for your Niti Aayog, or what, always remember one thing, what is the data you want to create with respective to your studies. Okay, that is the important. Always, whenever these 2 points that I say, whenever any funding agency is looking at, so what is the new data set or new information that you want to create out of the study that you are planning. Okay, so you need to provide all this data point that I have given, so you need to write on this aspect, on this particularly, I will get this, I will get this, I will get this. So you stepwise on this data component, you need to write on this aspect. Okay, so on this, if you go for, now you just look at it. Then the another important dimension, what is the relevance of your study? You just look at it. भाई ये जो स्टडी आप कर रहा है ये क्या यूज होगा, क्या प्रॉब्लम करेगा, इसका इम्प्लीकेशन क्या है सोसाइटी का. Okay, so you as a researcher, any topic you are writing, so you needs to write all the aspect on this point that I am explaining here. You just look at it, you just read. So any stream that always a data bank is very, very essential. I always say that without data, you cannot make a plan. You cannot implement any program. So data bank is very, very, all the points that I have written there, you just look at it. So I have given that you as a researcher, you needs to write on this context that you are writing. Okay, then you just look at it. For the society, same thing, I have already explained that how your research, this is the format. Okay, so how your study, you as a researcher is going to contribute on this aspect. Okay, then this is on this, how they say that suppose it is 12 months or 2 years, the time period. I say the budget, all the points that I have given, you just look at it, that you needs to write that so most of the ICCR if you go for, so longitudinal study, they have given 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. Okay, so major that we have generally 1 year and 2 years. Major and minor program that they are, most of the, if you go for. So how you are going to particularly do the activity. So on each quarter, you need to provide on that aspect. And then you just look at it. I have written this language. This is very, very, that I say, you need to, the difference is that I always say, is the funding proposal, is time and budget. So you need to write, this is the case that always it is 2 years, it is 1 year, it is 3 years. So these things is not there in your PhD synopsis. Whenever you are writing PhD synopsis, so all this, the past slide I have shared on time and budget, you just look at it. Same cheese. Suppose if you go for, you as a researcher, so you need one point I will say here. If I remember one thing, when I am applying this funding proposal last time, so generally perception is there, if you are applying 36 lakhs, so you are getting half of that. Okay, so they always at the time of interview, so they will decide. So, but my humble request that I won on the interview board, so they say that you have not gone through the guideline. So generally, since because I have done apply many programs, so generally I say that okay, you apply 30 lakhs, they will give you 15 lakhs. So, but remember one thing nowadays, so if the funding is 30 lakhs, you give 20 lakhs, 99 lakhs, not cross the other point. Okay, now because there is some logic. So you, all the point, 25 lakhs means 25 lakhs or less than that. That you have to keep in mind whenever all the point, if you have any clarification, then I will try to answer all these points. Okay, so this is the budget that you are talking about. Then maybe another point I will tell, then I will stop. This usme rah gaya. Okay, no problem. So yes, so this is the generally, just I share with you the example of if you go for with respective to your, if you are applying for funding proposal to ICCR. Okay, so if you go for another one aspect that the methodology part I will say, then I will stop on this. So all these young researcher, so methodology first is that you need to be very clear the nature of the study, whether it is quantitative, whether it is qualitative. Okay, you know, particularly we are talking about the research design, because each research design where we are missing methodology, many people write on this paragraph. So you clearly write on this aspect of how to, I have shared this document also, how to write the methodology. Then I will, if first point, you needs to be very, very clear that the point that you want to say, first point, that so your research design or study design, it is qualitative, quantitative, or both. In the contemporary times, that most of the research in the contemporary times, I always encourage that people are using mix, both quantitative and qualitative. You need to be very clear. The study or the synopsis or the present study is based on qualitative or quantitative or both. Okay, you first point. Then you need to write the study area. वो स्टडी एरिया में आपको सबसे ज़्यादा यही दिक्कत होता है, ये स्टडी एरिया क्यों लिया. सपोज कंधमाल डिस्ट्रिक्ट लिया कि केंदुझर डिस्ट्रिक्ट लिया, मैं पूछा क्यों लिया कि मेरा घर भद्रक है तो इसलिए मैं स्टडी ले लिया, भद्रक लिया. वो अच्छा जवाब दिया. एक स्टूडेंट गया था इंटरव्यू के लिए, भद्रक क्यों लिया, वही जवाब दिया. तो ये तो ठीक है, लेकिन ये रिसर्च में नहीं मानता है. तो व्हाई यू हैव सिलेक्टेड कंधमाल डिस्ट्रिक्ट or Mayurbhanj district. That logic you need to provide. First point, and that is important. All the researcher, if you are writing also paper, you need to do that. We call as a study area. Write one paragraph in कि भाई population इतना है, male, female, literacy, all this one paragraph on this particularly study area. Why you have selected the study area? That is part. Then you write all this. If you are writing a research proposal or funding proposal, you need to be very clear कि भाई ये मेरा the study will be based on both primary and secondary data. So the secondary data will be collected Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Economic Survey of India, Census of India, National Sample Survey, Periodic Labor Force Survey, all these secondary sources that you need to write. ये फर्स्ट पॉइंट होना चाहिए. आप लोग जितना यंग रिसर्चर है, यू राइट दिस पॉइंट. ओके, ये हो गया आपका जो है कि प्राइमरी डेटा, सॉरी सेकेंडरी डेटा. एग्जैक्टली सेम चीज, यू राइट प्राइमरी डेटा. द प्राइमरी डेटा विल बी कलेक्टेड from 700 respondents in Kandhamal district of Odisha using structured, unstructured interview, focus group discussion, observations, all these methods that you have used, you need to write clearly. Okay, whenever you are writing methodology. And then also you need to write that we call as a research tools. Okay, whatever the tools and technique and methods. Okay, so you are using household schedule, or questionnaire, or you are using stakeholder schedules. All these tools, suppose you use logit model, you use probit model, you use regressions. All these points, you need to be very, very clear, extensive on this methodology part. And then you need to be on this aspect that we are talking about on methodology part. How, what type of method you are using. Whether you are using interview, whether you are using focus group discussions, what type of methods you as a researcher you are using for your study, you need to be very, very clear on that. Okay, whenever you are writing proposal or funding proposal, they ask all these aspects that you need. And important dimension I forget, that the sample size. सबसे ज़्यादा यही क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं आपका फंडिंग प्रपोजल में, आपका सैम्पलिंग कितना है, सैंपल कैसे लिया, ये सैंपल को 200 लेखा कैसे लिया, ये पहला क्वेश्चन है. सब लोग पूछते हैं, कोई भी टीचर इमीडिएटली यही पूछता है, क्योंकि यही सैंपल साइज डिटरमाइन करता है आपको 20 लाख में 30 लाख के कितना रुपया देना है. So you need to be very, very clear on this aspect whenever you are writing your sample. Then another dimension that if you go for, so within methodology, then how you particularly the data will be analyzed. Okay, so you are using the data, the collected, the quantitative, qualitative data collected through focus group or the field survey or the secondary data will be analyzed through appropriate statistical technique or use on this logit, probit, whatever. Okay, so all the you as a researcher, you needs to write on this aspect. And then the last part is that we call as the consent. Always if you are doing primary survey, so you needs to work. So last, only one point that I will stop there. My request to all the teacher here, please always try to work on primary data. Now it is time that you encourage your student to work on primary data. Because most of the, if you go for in the contemporary times, students are not interested to work on primary data, including teacher also. Because sir is telling, Himanshu sir, if you go for, remember one thing, many things are there which is not written in the books. But if you go to the field, at least you can understand the ground reality. Okay, so I request to all this that I always promote on this aspect that please work on primary data, try to understand the rural problem, try to as much as possible, because if you do primary data, at least you understand how you will ask question, how you will talk to the people. Remember, many people do not know how to talk to the respondent. वो बोलते हैं ना, रापो बिल्डिंग नाम सुना है, वो आप किसी के पास जाओ, सर हम तो गए थे लेकिन हमको जवाब नहीं दिया. आप एक दिन जाने से कुछ नहीं होता है, एक बार जाओ, 2 बार जाओ, 3 बार जाओ, 4 बार जाओ, उनके साथ बैठो, उनके साथ चाय पियो, रापो बिल्डिंग करो, आप लोग को सबको पता है, तब जा करके कोई बोलेगा. ये नहीं होगा, ये रिसर्च हमारा प्राइमरी बेस का खत्म हो रहा है. तो इसीलिए माई रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल दिस टीचर्स हियर एंड वी पीपल आर रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट, वी नीड्स टू वर्क ऑन प्राइमरी डेटा. भाई सेकेंडरी डेटा में काम करो, 90% सेकेंडरी में काम करो, वही सेकेंडरी को 10% में प्राइमरी बेस में सप्लीमेंट करो. यही मैं करके आई शुड स्टॉप हियर. ओके, सो थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir, for guiding us through the funding landscape of research. Now we are here for open for discussion. You can have an interaction session with the resource persons. Thank you. Any questions?
क्वेश्चन भाई पूछो, क्वेश्चन पचारो. ये at least I always encourage all these young researchers, please, at least you needs to ask questions, or you needs to be very, very critical in this, particularly on this domain. Don't think that I know everything, or both of us. Otherwise, you will teach how to ask questions.
So what about humanities? Here you didn't mention about humanities.
This is all. These are applicable to humanities, language, music, science, everything.
Good afternoon. Sir, my question is to Himanshu Sekhar, sir. Sir, as you have said that an average researcher should not put his legs on the controversial topics, sir, how we can recognize or figure out all those controversial issues or field areas, sir?
You are asking how to know whether it is controversial or not.
Yes, sir. Because most of the time we have been prevented to do research or conduct research on such an area which will be create controversy, like drug addiction or Muslim girls education, sir.
I think that the will content knowledge in your different field you can find out. Sit down. That a expert can tell in your field. The expert will tell what is the contradiction or what we are telling controversial. But suppose I will give an example. Suppose from economics. Or you can see Biju Swasthya Kalyan Yojana and Ayushman Bharat. 2 cards are there. In which one you want to work in Odisha now?
Which program is
Both are also available, na? If you will apply to government of Odisha that I want to study how the Biju Swasthya Kalyan Yojana is running, do you think you will get the funding? Do you think you will get the funding?
No, sir. I think.
If you will apply how the Aishman Bharat is working in Odisha, you will get a funding. You see, you have to find out in your own area, you have to find out which one is controversial. Again, you see, I have a caveat on that. I am not telling you should not try for that. You try, but you should have sufficient knowledge and you should have sufficient idea to defend that. You should take the responsibility. But as an average or a beginner, don't put your leg there. That is my precaution. Otherwise, you will get in a short time, you will get a very good name and fame. My point is that I am not denying that you should not take controversial, but you should have that much of authority to defend that. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Let me tell, madam was asking about whether it is applicable to humanities, language. I think this, the conceptual framework, the common points are applicable to all science, arts, commerce, language. But the thing is, how much you want to apply in language, how much you can apply in science, how much you can apply in social science. You see, scientific method is there. If you will take science, you may have more experiment. But if I am telling in social science, I will have more observation. Go to the society, I will observe more. But for science, you have more experiment. But both place or in even if all other area, there will be combination of observation, experiment and logical argument. But the proportion changes. But all the three will be there in every place. That is my point. The proportion may change.
Hello.
I got 3-4 year chance to teach people research methodology on University of Culture. Do you know? The people, those who are there, they are tablists, they are musician. उनको भी पढ़ाना है रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी, उनको वेरिएबल क्या है पढ़ाना है, वो पीएचडी करेंगे. Are you getting how difficult? They will also identify variable. Music has a very good relationship with human psychology. A musician should do that. Find out the variable. How music affects the human health. किसी को music, if you will give, it is a healing process. Music is a healing process. Language. Fakirmon literature. International conference in University of California. University of California hosting international conference on Fakirmon's literature. Publications are coming in EPW special issue. How many literature people they know it? My point is that I was taking 3 days before one class in the MMTTC. You know, Madan Mohan Malaviya teacher training for teachers. One teacher asked, sir, then language is a barrier. I told, why? Language is a barrier. You should find out who are your audience. Who are your audience? The Fakirmon literature, you want to take to international arena? You want to take outside Odisha? Yes, you have to know English. But if you don't want to take it outside, you want in Odisha, do in Odia. Language is not a barrier. And sir, you are telling English is compulsory for good research. I told I am not telling that. But if you want to go outside and you want to propagate your literature for different historian, different poets, different literature people, then you have to go to outside Odia language. So things are happening, but we should raise up to that.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, I have a query.
Anybody can ask also in Odia, no issue. Language is not a issue.
Sir, we are arranging a seminar and we want fund, that is fund for to arrange the seminars. I have contacted two organization and they are agree with that they will be cooperate us and give some amount. And if you will be share some organization of Odisha, so that we will be arrange that is a national seminar which will be successful. And I am requesting you, please share some funding organization in Odisha, so that our institutions, other faculties and other department can arrange the seminars also. Sir, it is a query that please share some funding organizations.
Funding agency to organize seminar.
Yes, sir. National
Conference.
seminar. Yes, sir.
Odisha re.
Yes.
ICSA sir, you can apply. Which subject?
Sir, English department.
English?
Yes.
You can apply to Odisha State Higher Education Council. They are giving up to 3 lakhs, 5
Sir,
lakh.
I have contact in Cuttack and two organizations are decide, that is they will be agree with her proposal, but we want more funds to arrange the national level seminar. So I am requesting you, please share some organizations so that we will be benefited and other faculty members or the other departments, they will be benefited. Thank you, sir.
First, Odisha State Higher Education Council apply to Government of Odisha. Now Culture Department is giving, and now the for Odia language literature, huge amount of money is there. Just you apply, they are giving. They are with huge amount of fund to sponsor this. But your proposal should be a good one. That should be convincing. That should add some new knowledge. ये नहीं है खाली कॉन्फ्रेंस करके खा पी के बस टाइम पास करना, ये नहीं होगा. What is your tell me, for which you have applied, what is your
Sir,
listen first my question. I have not asked the question.
Yes.
Madam, I have not asked the question, but you are attempted to answer. What is your outcome of that conference?
Sir, we are arranging for 2 days, and
I am not asking
outcome
that.
That is, I am concerned on the 2 organizations, and
I am not asking that. My point is, आपका outcome क्या है उसका? उसको करेंगे तो क्या फायदा होगा सोसाइटी का?
And we are discussing about, yes, madam.
And that is the objective. That is not the outcome. वो तो objective है ना? What the courses of action or how you will?
We want that is within translation, we can translate our literature into English language so that our culture will be developed and others will be know about our culture, our tradition. So that's all.
You are not getting my point. ये जो process, all you are breaking the process.
Okay, sir.
But my point is, what is the outcome? Society को क्या फायदा होगा उसमें? What are the expected outcomes? I want to publish a book, internationally acclaimed book. I want to publish 5 publications from that in article publication. That is the problem for which we will have action. We will propagate it in going to different places. So action point क्या है उसमें आएगा? ये expected, listen, expected outcome, and if the proposal is good, na, if anybody can give you fund. I am telling, Government of India or Government of Odisha, many fundings are available now. But your proposal should be in a good proposal.
Yes,
with outcome.
सर हमारा आउटकम ये है कि हमारा जो लिटरेचर है उसको ट्रांसलेट करेंगे. Some topics are there. Fakir Mons, you will be see Choma Nathaguntu. It was also translated. Then you will be see Nand Kishore Balas, his work. It is also translated. What we will be get? That is our culture, our tradition. It will be translated into that is English language. That is it will be established as that is Odia culture, Odia tradition in international level. So that was our motto, and that is our idea.
ये ट्रांसलेट में करने में कुछ नहीं होगा. लाइब्रेरी में तो thousands of books are there which is translated. उसका फायदा क्या है?
Peoples will be
What is the outcome?
and they will be appreciated our
You
culture.
have to tell that this is will be translated. We will make 100 people to read it. 1,000 people has to read it, and they change their life. That is the outcome. Outcome is not that you will translate the book. ऐसे तो बहुत ट्रांसलेशन हुआ है, बहुत कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रहा है. उसका सोसाइटी का ऊपर क्या प्रभाव है? नेक्स्ट.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I am Alok Kumar Sahu. I belong to Department of Philosophy. Yeah, philosophy. So, if we are looking about that proposal writing, can you explain that how indigenous idea can be inculcated in writing proposals so that we are able to contribute something, new ideas in basically whether I belong, that how philosophically we are able to execute the indigenous idea in our peripheral arena if you look at. Sir, please.
You have an expert now, but let me tell, we are here not as a domain person. We are here as a common methodology to teach. We are not philosophy. If the question may ask, better may philosophy, but fortunately you are having a person who is working on these indigenous tribes or primitive tribes. You can get it. But my point is, we are telling a common thing for which for all subject, but that is a domain knowledge.
You just imagine, I'm just giving one example. अभी हम लोग बात कर रहा है कि टेक एग्जाम्पल मांकड़िया ट्राइब्स का फीमेल लिटरेसी अभी 20% है, 20 से 30% बीच में है मांकड़िया ट्राइब का फीमेल लिटरेसी. तो आप अभी सपोज मान लो कि एक हम एग्जाम्पल दे रहा है कि इसमें जो चीज़ें हम लोग जितना लिटरेचर बात कर रहा है वो बात कर रहा है भाई गरीब है, खाने के लिए नहीं मिल रहा है, स्कूल नहीं है, टीचर नहीं है, पॉवर्टी है, ये सब चीज़ हो रहा है. लेकिन अभी हम लोग जो सोच रहा है क्या उनका जो कल्चर है, जो ट्राइबल का जो कल्चर है, कल्चर समझ, कल्चर बहुत बड़ा है लेकिन कल्चर हम एक्सप्लेन कर लेंगे अभी यहाँ इस कॉन्टेस्ट में. मान लो कि उसका जो बिलीफ सिस्टम है एजुकेशन को ले करके, पढ़ने के आगे बढ़ने का, और आपका मान लो कि बेस्ट एग्जांपल ले लो मदर टंग को ले करके जो जोड़ा हुआ है उनका कल्चर के साथ जो पढ़ाई, क्या वो चीज़ उसमें सच में कोई रोल कर रहा है? तो ये आपका जो रिसर्चर है जो इंडिजिनियस नॉलेज का जैसे बात किया, जैसे मान लो मांकड़िया ट्राइब से, मांकड़िया ट्राइब्स का जो नॉलेज है कि दे आर वेरी नॉलेजेबल इन टर्म्स ऑफ जो रोप मेकिंग, रोप जो प्लास्टिक रोप, जो दोना मेकिंग, ऑल्सो जो उस एरिया में जो एक्सपर्ट उसका नॉलेज में है वो, तो उसको जो उस कॉन्टेस्ट में यू एज ए रिसर्चर, तो आपका जो कोई भी इंडिजिनियस नॉलेज का आप बात कर रहा है तो क्या कैसे आपको उसको आर्टिकुलेट करना है आपका डोमेन में, तो आपको ही डिटरमाइन करना पड़ेगा. मैं आपको यही चीज़ बोल रहा हूँ कि आपका एरिया में कोई भी चीज़ करो जो कुछ वो फिलोसफी में हो, सोशोलॉजी में हो, एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में हो, तो कुछ नया आ जाए उससे. जैसे मैं कल्चर का बात कर रहा हूँ, इंडिजिनियस नॉलेज का बात कर रहा हूँ, तो आपका एरिया से आप एक बार एक्सप्लोर करेंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा.
You want to do some work on it?
Yes, sir.
What instigated you to do this thing? How you create interest as a philosopher? How you interested? Because this is a domain for anthropology. This is a no. My point is that everybody can do. I am not denying that, but what instigated you, that you have an authority to think about that? Have you consulted an anthropologist? Have you consulted a sociologist? What sir was telling now, research is not in islands. You will have, ask in your college, suppose you are in a college or a university, ask your friends, anthropology friend, sit with a cup of tea with anthropology one person, sociology one person, and if psychology is there, 3-4 person you ask, discuss about that. You will see good idea, different dimensions will come. But when we think our direction are linear, but you want a non-linear direction, different angles. Okay?
Sir, actually the thing is, no doubt we are collaborating and we are interacting with each other so that new ideas come up. But the question being arises from how it develop and where is the originate. So in this point, as an individual, we need to think of, and that as you asked from where, I just started thinking about that, and I think in our college there is a seminar regarding IKS and IQSC conducted, but the question particularly on Panchatantra. So Panchatantra, that ideas can be inculcated in the teaching frame if you locate, then it's a very catchy in the classroom domain as well. So how to teach and how to learn, this is the biggest factor. As sir I actually mentioned, the question actually lies in writing proposal. The problem not lies in the student, but in the fraternity, the academician, that how to examine and we are giving the information. So in this way we learn. So it is everyone's right to ask the questions so that we learn, no? Because dialectic is the method, as Socrates very beginningly, in the very primarily he articulate that without conversation it is difficult to acquire truth as well. So first question, asking the questions. So we allow everyone. So this is my beginning stage. And second question is that what are the process or stages of evaluation of a proposal, sir? Yeah.
In identification, you are already 2-3 steps gone. Broad idea, then you have identified this IKS or something, then you go to some that preliminary evidence base. To some evidence base now, then you concretize your gap. I think another 2 step is there for your first problem, first question. Second question, evaluation.
May already, I think the first important dimensions if you go for the evaluation of project. So 2 stages are there. My so far different understanding is there. So first stage is that we as organizations, so internal evaluations, and then expert evaluation, then interview. And most of the cases, most of the interview. So whenever you are applying any funding proposal, so I say that always stick to this, what they want. First point, remember what they want. Immediately if you apply the out of the domain, so immediately it is rejected, immediately, no screening, nothing. तो ये पहला स्टेज है. सेकेंड स्टेज में जब आप जाते हो तो इसलिए आपका कोई भी टॉपिक आप ले रहा है तो मैं आपको सबको भी बोल रहा हूँ कि भाई ये चीज़ कॉन्टेम्पररी होना चाहिए, रिलेवेंट होना चाहिए, सोसाइटी के लिए यूजफुल होना चाहिए. और ये अभी ये इसमें चल रहा है सब लोग. जैसे अभी बात करो, दुनिया बात कर रहा है एआई का, दुनिया अभी सब जगह में बात चल रहा है एआई का. अभी सबका बात चल रहा है लेबर कोड का. लेबर कोड जो आया हुआ है ना, अभी जैसे हमारा यहाँ आयुष्मान हेल्थ का जो इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर वर्कर्स है, जो भी मेरा जितना नॉलेज है, आपका टॉपिक एरिया में जो रिलेवेंट होगा तो थोड़ा सा उसमें एक्सप्लोर करिए. और ध्यान देना चाहिए कि जो मेथोडोलॉजी में सबसे ज़्यादा ध्यान देना चाहिए, तीनों चीज़ पर देखते हैं. एक चीज़ हम लोग को कोई प्रपोजल दिया गया है, हमको यही बोलते हैं कि इसमें आपको 100 मार्क देना है। तो ये प्रपोजल में आपको यही चीज़ देखना है कि ये रिसर्चर का कोई एक्सपीरियंस है कि नहीं है। नहीं है तो 0 हो गया, छोड़ दो, उसको छोड़ दो, बात मत करो इमीडिएटली। आपका एक है तो फिर डिबेट चलता है, एक में देना है कि दूसरे में देना है कि तीसरे में है, कोई अलाइड है कि नहीं है। आपका पूरा CV देखते हैं, आपका जो 1 पेज का CV दिया गया है उस फॉर्मेट में। तो इसलिए ये सेकेंड पॉइंट है। और थर्ड पॉइंट हम लोग देखते हैं, जो हम लोग जब ये में जाते हैं, तो ये तीसरा वाला जो है कि आपका क्या मेथोडोलॉजी सही लिखा हुआ है। क्योंकि आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव एक चीज़ है, मेथोडोलॉजी तीसरा चीज़ है। ये होता है, बिलीव मी, आई एम टेलिंग द ट्रूथ। ऑब्जेक्टिव कुछ लिखा हुआ है, रिसर्च गैप कुछ लिखा हुआ है, और आपका ये चीज़ हुआ है, तो उसका मतलब ये बंदा को कुछ पता नहीं है, तो हम काट देते हैं। तो इसलिए ये जो ये 3 का, और जो लास्ट में बोला कि साइटेशन, मेरा जो एक्सपीरियंस है, हम लोग जैसे इवेल्युएट करते हैं तो हम उसमें क्वेश्चन पूछना है। इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में 3 क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि भाई ये स्टडी का क्या फ़ायदा होगा, आप क्यों करना चाह रहा है, इसका सोसाइटी पर क्या इम्प्लीकेशन होगा, और उसके तीसरे पूछते हैं कि आप उसको कैसे करेंगे, आपका ये सैंपल कैसे डिटरमाइन किया है, ये पैसे, ये जो प्रोजेक्ट लिया है 30 लाख का, क्यों जस्टिफिकेशन क्या है, कैसे करेंगे 30 लाख में, इसका जस्टिफिकेशन बता दो। यही 10 मिनट का मतलब है। सबसे ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं सैम्पलिंग में। मुझे पूछे थे, मुझे आज यहाँ मुझे फिजिकल मोड में इंटरव्यू हो रहा था, पहले मुझे पूछे थे, पता है आपको कुछ सैम्पलिंग होता है? एक मैडम ने पूछे, आप तो JNU में पढ़ाते हो और सैम्पलिंग के बारे में पता है? क्योंकि मुझे हरास करने के लिए, ये कुछ नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं JNU का फैकल्टी हूँ, तो मुझे पूछे, मैं कुछ नहीं बोला क्योंकि मैं मेरा कंट्रोल किया। तो मैं कल पोलाइटली बोला कि मैम, तो मैं लगभग 20 साल हो गया मेरा बच्चे को यही चीज़ पढ़ाता हूँ कि सैम्पलिंग क्या है, सैम्पलिंग कैसे होता है। आपको मैं बोला नहीं है, लेकिन उनको भी, टीचर लोग को, काफ़ी लोग को पता नहीं है सैम्पलिंग क्या है और सैंपल क्या है। आप सैम्पलिंग पूछेंगे तो वो सैंपल जवाब देते हैं, जितना भी पूछ लो। तो ये चीज़ वो होता है, आप कुछ नहीं सुनना, आपका पोलाइटली आप रेस्पॉन्स देना। तो मेथोडोलॉजी थोड़ा सा अच्छा से देख लीजिए।
I will give an example just. Odisha State Higher Education Council. Okay. You apply your project. First stage, there will be a internal checking. Internal checking means whether you have followed the guidelines, what is telling as per the guideline. Guideline दिया है abstract of 200 words. If you are sending in 201, reject. If you are sending 199, reject. This is your careless. They told you send in 200. How dare you have sent in 201 words? Who has given the right? So there is I am giving the example. Don't think like this. My point is, you should stick to the guideline. That is my point. I know it, but that is an extreme case. If a person will, some people will, very strict person will be there, they will immediately reject. They will not see it, whatever you have written. My point is, you should be disciplined. As a researcher, we should be disciplined, follow the guideline, we should be careful. We knowingly we are doing the mistake. That is careless. First thing. So there is a desk rejection from there. If that will pass, then it will go to the experts. Expert will give some mark. Under that mark, the council will have tell that if it is 3 out of 4, then we can take these proposals for interview. So that is the second stage. So you have a screening now, you will get mark. How to get mark? Already he had explained all the methodology and all this thing. Then you will go for interview. In interview, they will see your expression, your presentation, and please don't unnecessarily argue with them. What is telling? Very polite. Very polite. Whatever if you want to get the project. But if you want to tell, no, this is a project of 3 crore, you are giving 1.5 crore, I cannot take it. In a longitudinal research project, I was telling like that, but in front of me somebody was there, don't tell like this. Because they are decided to give 1.5 crore. But I know in 1.5, I have applied for 3 crore. They are giving 1. He was telling the 50%. They have a guideline, 50% they will give, even though they have a target of 3 crore. But they are giving somebody very external, extremely good thing they may give. So my point is, try to be disciplined, try to be sober, try to be polite to the interview board. Okay? These are the some of the points. Getting the project जितना easy है, उससे ज़्यादा difficult है implement करना. उससे ज़्यादा difficult है फंड रिलीज करके सेकंड इंस्टॉलमेंट उधर लाके यूसी देने के लिए. ओके?
Sir, good afternoon everyone. Sir, I have a doubt regarding PhD proposal writing. So sir, shall we consider or avoid methodological and geographical gap? Well,
सॉरी, हाँ, ये रखना आपका मैं मानता हूँ. ज्योग्राफिकल फैक्टर जो है ये रिसर्च गैप में आप ले सकते हो, मैं मना नहीं करता हूँ. मैं बच्चे लोग को बोलता हूँ यूएसए में हुआ है, इंडिया में करो, बिहार में हुआ है, यूपी में करो, कोई इशू नहीं है. लेकिन वो एक्चुअल सेंस में आपका उसमें कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या है, कौन सा चीज़ नया चीज़ आप ले रहा है. जैसे मैं बोला कास्ट, जेंडर, कल्चर, मदर टंग, भाई आपका जो स्टडी नहीं हुआ है आप चाह रहा है उस डायमेंशन को एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए विथ योर ज्योग्राफिकल फैक्टर. दैट विल बी वेरी गुड कि भाई हाँ लगेगा मैं जो चीज़ कर रहा हूँ कुछ नया है. तो इसलिए ज्योग्राफिकल फैक्टर को मुझे कोई टीचर ने काफ़ी बोला था नहीं आपको करना है, ये चीज़ करो. मैं बोला ठीक है कर सकते हो, ऐसे नहीं है कि मना नहीं. लेकिन मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि आपको देखना है जो रिसर्च गैप का बहुत चीज़ें डिफरेंट टाइप, थ्योरेटिकल फ्रेमवर्क, आपका वेरिएबल गैप, आपका पॉपुलेशन गैप, आपका मॉडल गैप, आपका एनालिसिस गैप, आपका कोई भी चीज़ ले रहा है तो थोड़ा सा आप इसके साथ साथ ले लोगे और वो बुलेट पॉइंट में आपको क्लियर होना चाहिए. मेरा कास्ट एक फैक्टर है, वो स्टडी नहीं हुआ है. ये डिजिटलाइजेशन का एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्या है उसका कोई स्टडी नहीं हुआ है. नेटवर्किंग पर कोई स्टडी नहीं हुआ है. तो वो क्लियर होना चाहिए ये डायमेंशन कौन सा है, तब थोड़ा अच्छा रहेगा इसके साथ साथ.
थैंक यू सर.
Example just I am giving. Malaria in Koraput and malaria in Bhubaneswar. There will be geographical difference. In that case you can take. But financial inclusion in Bhubaneswar and financial inclusion in Cuttack, do you find any significant difference? Now got how geography, which case you take geography?
Yes sir, yes sir.
So there is a spatial difference in many cases. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Again, in Koraput, do the research malaria on June and in December, they will differ. Their time factor will also differ. Are you getting? Yes. If you suppose your sampling period and data collection period is somebody is taking in June and another student is doing in December, same place, you will find your difference. Yes, sir. So you should be careful and you know how time, geography, they differ with research question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, if you want, sir, if you want, we can.
Last question.
As we have constraint of time, please be specific. Thank you, sir. Please on your microphone.
You are from Odisha?
Yes.
हाँ, ओडिया रे पचार दियंतु जल्दी बुझी हे जिवो.
आपणको द्वारा प्रपोजल किछि जहाँ डेवलपमेंट करचंती किछि फंडिंग एजेंसी द्वारा फंडिंग जदि हेइतु आमे टिके प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल पाइले आमु टिके खुशी लागिवो. सो
this is a live proposal. He has given this proposal, live proposal.
फंडिंग प्रपोजल थिला. सेटा फंडिंग प्रपोजल ता थिला. फंडिंग एजेंसी सर किए थिले? ICSC sir. Thank you sir.
I have a project from also ICSC sir. How intergenerational transfer affects the handloom sector.
Again. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you everyone for this fruitful session. As we now approach to the conclusion of this academic program, it is fitting to express our gratitude to all those who have contributed to its success. So to this, now I invite Dr. Devakanta Sarangi sir, co-convener of the workshop, to propose a vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Principal, sir, my esteemed resource person, Himanshu Sekhar Rout, sir, Minaketan Behera, sir, and esteemed Dipti madam, esteemed Purvasa madam, and my esteemed IQSU member who are sitting in front of me, Pramod sir, our former reader in chemistry, esteemed Nandakishore Parida sir, our former principal of KSE, Prabhakar sir, our former UGC in charge, Chitaranjan Das sir from Media House, my esteemed senior faculty members who are present in front of me, as well as my dear friends who are sitting in front of me, and dear all students who are present here. It is an honor to be deliver the vote of thanks today on behalf of the organization, my alma mater, Kendrapara Autonomous College. I sincerely thank our resource person, Professor Minaketan Behera sir, for his inspiring presence and valuable words about how to write a research proposal. And my sincere thanks also goes to our resource person, Professor Himanshu Sekhar sir, for his valuable enlightenment word regarding the funding research proposal. And my thanks also goes to Principal sir, Dipti madam, Purvasa madam, Himanshu sir, and all senior faculty members who cooperate for this program. A big thanks to all our
guests as well as our all faculty members, teaching staffs, non-teaching staffs, students for participating in this event and making it a grand success and meaningful one and as well as engaging one. Special thanks to our organizer and volunteers whose hard work made this everything possible, and of course my heartfelt thanks to our wonderful audience for their timely presence and supports. With this I remain. Thank you all.
Open invitation from my side and also from Minaketan side. Anybody want to write research proposal? If you want any help, especially the faculty members, if you want any help, write a mail. We can help you whatever manner you want.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I think more than me, than Minaketan will more happy also. For if you want the idea, collaboration, anything you want, please, whatever content knowledge, domain knowledge we are having in our field.
ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ଯେଉଁଟା ମୁଁ ପ୍ରତି ସଣ୍ଡେରେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟିଏ ଯେଉଁ ଦିନରୁ ଆମର ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଛୁଆ ମୋର ସେଣ୍ଟରରେ ପାଇଲେନି PhD 7 ଜଣ ଝିଅ ଯାଇଥିଲେ ଆଉ 7 ଜଣ ଝିଅ କେହି ପାଇଲେନି। ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କଲି ଗୋଟିଏ ଝିଅକୁ ରଖିବା ଲାଗି ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ PhDରେ ହେଇପାରିଲା ନାହିଁ। ସେଇ ଦିନରୁ ମୁଁ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଅସ୍ ଆଜିକି 3 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲାଣି ପ୍ରତି ସଣ୍ଡେରେ ମାନେ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଅସ୍ ଏଇ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ମେଥଡ୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଡେଟା ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ କେତେ ଲେକ୍ଚର ହେଇସାରିଲାଣି। ତେଣୁ ଚାଲୁଛି। ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି କେତେ କେନ୍ଦ୍ରାପଡ଼ାରୁ ଜଏନ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ଆଇ ଏମ୍ ଟ୍ରାଇଂ ମାଇ ବେଷ୍ଟ। ତେଣୁ ଆପଣମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ମିଶନ ମୋଡ଼ରେ ମୋତେ ମାନେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ମେଥଡ୍ସ ମାନେ ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏତେ ଇଏ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଯେ ଆମକୁ ନିହାତି ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚର ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଆଗକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। ତେଣୁ ଆପଣମାନେ ଯେବେ ବି ସାର୍ ଯେମିତି କହିଲେ ସାର୍ ତ କାମରେ ଫିଲ୍ଡରେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ମୁଁ ବି କାମ କରୁଛି, ଯେବେ ବି ଯାହା ସାହାଯ୍ୟ ହେବ I am ready to do.
Sir, just few lines. This is just a beginning. Whatever topics are covered in this session of 3 hours, each and every topic is a session, like review of literature, methodology, analysis, how to relate concepts and theories to the research problems. Everything is every topic is a session. So we combined everything in a short period of time, which is not sufficient. But sir, the major problem in colleges, in universities, there are a lot of scope to do research. There is motivation. There is also incentive, financially and non-financially. But the most important challenge we face in colleges, how to develop a research culture, how to develop a researcher's mindset. Because for those things, for doing research, neither there is any motivation, nor there is any incentive, which is actually not taking the young researchers forward of thinking in these lines. As you said, I also didn't know that while applying for a research funding, we should have minimum of 3 publications in that particular area. So publications and all these things have no motivation, no incentive for the faculty members, which make them lethargic towards this research. So as you people are dealing with larger forums, so kindly convey these messages at least in colleges. If research culture is promoted and faculty members will be given some motivation, maybe in the form of promotion, maybe in the form of some financial incentive, then that mindset will develop among the faculty members. Those who are doing like us, we are self-motivated. Actually, if we will do the research project, if we will write the papers, like universities, we do not have any promotion or motivation for award for all those things. It is for our self-satisfaction, self-motivation. And how many will do all these things out of self-motivation, that is a matter of concern. So that is my sincere request. This is a small attempt from our college side to develop that researchers' mindset to keep us motivated, because our sir said in the beginning that without doing the research, we cannot be effective teachers. teaching is reflected out of the researches, and if research is aligned with the teaching, then the students will also be benefited a lot. So with this, this is my humble request to both the resource persons, those who are present among us. Well, whenever they go to any kind of planning and policy forums, sir kindly suggest to create such research atmosphere in colleges of the state of Odisha, so that we will also feel motivated, take it as a competitive competition among us, then who is taking how many projects, who is writing more more papers, who is having large number of publications. So all these things will develop automatically. Thank you very much, sir.
Can I, one point I can add? Dipti told 2 points. First point, I am fully agree. Every bullet point will be one class. That point I am agree. But second point regarding the research culture in the college, yes, I am partially agree that incentives should be there. But please remember, research is a self-motivated thing. It is a self-motivated thing. Let me tell, I cannot impose my thing on you, but let me tell about, I have started my career to teaching LKG student. I started my career with LKG, UKG, primary, high school, plus 2, plus 3, PG, PhD. All classes I have taught. I know breaking one bracket, going to higher bracket, how much difficult. When I appeared the interview board, oh, they are talking, hey, teaching in UG, what you will teach in PG? I have heard in the board also. Getting a high school teacher to a plus 2, high school le padhauchi, kaun se plus 2 re padhi paribo? You have to break that bracket, and it is too difficult. You have to ignite with yourself, bring yourself. Yes, if there is motivation, it's okay. But research culture is a self-motivation. If you want, you can do. I was in a college also for 6 to 7 years. I was in a college. I have published most of the part in that college time also. I know I was taking, in plus 2 I was taking 36 classes. In plus 3 also I was taking 36 classes. UG, PG, both was there also. Now, again also university. It is okay, incentive is one thing, but now the incentive is there. You have to do research, otherwise you will be retired on that. I know how much of self-satisfaction I got when my first publication came. You should be happy with yourself. Your own publication gives your own pleasure. You should enjoy the research. When it will be your culture, when you will enjoy your research, when you will do something for the society, you will be happy. That much you take. Yes, if some other career is coming, money is coming, it's fine.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words, and I'm sure the people out here will be definitely think about it, and they will go ahead for the researchers. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I have few announcements before we leave the hall. First of all, please collect your certificates from Miss Lijashri Priyadarshini Sethi. She is there. Second, please join us for lunch in Gandhi Bhavan. Third, I request everyone to have a photo session with our resource person. Thank you so much. Have a productive and inspiring day ahead. Thank you. Namaskar.
ये गोटे प्रोग्राम मु कहे जी सार सर आपन को मोर रिक्वेस्ट मु ओडिशा रे मु तो ओडिशा रे एपंत बेसी आसी पारनी जे जा भी हो माने जो रिसर्च कल्चरटा ये जेमति प्रोग्राम गोटे हैला सेही भलिया गोटे नुह दुईटा तीनटा चारटा रिसर्च कल्चरटा को डेवलप करवा लगी समस्त दायित्व अच्छी बर्तमान रिसर्च कल्चर जो रास्ता रे टीचर माने कहीं डिमोटिवेट होउचंती तेणु तारी उपर टिके यदि आमे अधिक एम्फासिस करवा जेति कि आमे आज जानिल तेणु आउ टिके सेटा केमिति आज गोटे सर्टिफिकेट चलला गोटे बांटी देबा पार्टी कर देबा आईक्यूसी रिक्वायरमेंट अछि कर दियो ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम ना को देखेवार हबो सेटा करिवार हबो ता सहित जदि कंटिन्यूटीटा रहिबो ताहले बहुत आमे आगु को जाई परिबा आम ओडिया कल्चर एते आगु को जाई सारची एते रिसर्चर आगु को जाई सारचंती माने बाहर डोमेन रे ओडिया ना सुनला क्यों गोटे पॉजिटिव रेस्पॉन्स आसुची जोटी जाओ तेणु से कल्चरटा टिके डेभलप करिया लगी ये हम जो क्वालिटी नॉट क्वांटिटी से क्वालिटी ऊपर टिके एम्फासिस करिया दरकार थैंक यू ऑल गिविंग फॉर दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी सो सी यू एनी हेल्प एनी academic help I am with people all any students those who are there so believe me if you go for this people now different students are getting the benefit of it do that.
Please come to the stage for the photo session, please.